Good morning.
Morning.
Thank you for Father Michael for giving that beautiful introduction about me. My name is Baiju. I don't want to go to my last name. It's a pretty long Indian name. I've been in Central for last 26 years. When I was growing up back in India, my dad had to make a big sacrifice, leaving a place where medical care was free, education was free for the kids, transportation to schools was free, housing was free, water, gas, everything was free in the place where he worked. But he knew that the faith formation of the kids was not free, was not happening in that place where he worked. So he decided to leave the place. It was a big sacrifice. Now he has to buy a piece of land, build a house, transport every day to the workplace, pay for the gas collection, everything. Pay for the education of the kids, everything. But in the midst of all the sacrifices, he brought us closer to church, closer to a Catholic community. Sooner, we had a pastor. He just lived with us in the parish for 11 months and 9 days. Very short. But he had the tremendous influence on the people of our parish. He was a very spiritual man, very devout. People came from all the neighboring parishes to hear his homilies. Deep knowledge, deep experience of God. And it had tremendous impact on the youth of the parish. Until that time, we had only just 2 priests from the parish. Even though the parish was in existence for almost 35 years by the time he came, we had only 2 priests and just a handful of nuns. But after his coming, things changed. The parish became so vibrant, spiritual activities were many. Social service programs, community service programs were so many. And so many men and women, that was a good thing about it. So many young boys and girls wanted to become like him. So today, after almost 30 years, or 25 to 26 years after he left, we have almost 15 priests in the parish, more than 100 nuns, working many parts of the world, and so many seminarians and candidates to religious life. It's all because, and even today when we gather together as a priest and religious come together in the parish, most of them would testify that it all began with that particular priest. A pastor who had tremendous impact in the life and the future of that particular community. And I do always think and know that my vocation to priesthood, to religious life, and to community service comes from him. He always was an admirable guy. Jesus in the gospel is talking about such people. He is so moved with the need of the people. And he says, these people are without a shepherd, without a proper leader to guide them. And he says, I'm going to teach them. In the beginning of the gospel, we found that Jesus had all sent his apostles out to the mission. And they all came back and they began to tell what they did and how they taught. Jesus trains a group of people to be good shepherds for the people. In the first reading taken from the book of Jeremiah, God talks about appointing good shepherds after him who would take care of his people, caring for the people, pastoring them, leading them to prosperity, success, guiding them when they face dark moments in their life. And God says that he is going to take care of that. Another aspect of that passage that we heard in the gospel and in the first reading is that God does that. God shows his compassion, care, and love towards his people through people from the community itself. He chooses people, trains them, forms them, and appoints them to show God's love and care. Back in 1625, God chose Vincent de Paul. Most of you must be knowing Saint Vincent de Paul. So famous in the Catholic Church for organized charitable works. He began a group of priests called Congregation of the Mission. He started the congregation formerly known as the Vincentians. He started that because in the year 1617, when he was serving as a chaplain to a royal family in Paris, the madam in the house asked Vincent to preach a mission to a group of people working for the family. And he encountered during that mission the lives of the people. And he found people having received spiritual care for 30, 35 years. They haven't seen Mass. They haven't had confession for 35 years. No other spiritual practices. So he felt the need for a parish renewal. And so he began the missions. Later on, it was called popular mission because it became so popular. He was looking for people to help him to do the mission. And finally, he had to start what we call the Congregation of the Mission formally to start and give mission to the parishes. So, the Vincentians, starting from 1625, they do two things. First, they do a lot of parish missions, parish renewal programs, spiritual renewal programs. The second thing is what Vincent is so famous for, charity, caring for the least in the society, the orphans, the widows, the poor, people affected by war and violence. So he used to gather a lot of men and women, not only priests and religious, but also so many lay people, so many wealthy, rich people to join in this great effort and show God's love and compassion towards people. The Vincentians came to India in 1922 from Spain, and they worked in India all these years, mostly in direct evangelization, working in the remote parts of India, going to the tribal areas, remote villages, in the mountains, in jungles, and meet people who have never seen a world outside of their own, people who have never learned how to read and write. Okay, they began to work among them and give them proper education, proper care, medical care, all other services that we can give. Now today, after so many years, we got the faith, we got all these from the European missionaries who came some 100 years ago. But now, with the number of priests and religious more with us, we are, in my province, we call South Indian province, we have almost 120 priests. And we have more than 135 seminarians. Now, we feel we need to contribute to others, to give others what we have received. So in 1995, we began the mission in Tanzania, Africa, where we have more than 15 priests right now working, and there are almost 55 native candidates to priesthood. Our emphasis in Tanzania right now is to bring up the native clergy who can understand the culture, the language, and the faith of the people, and give them God's values. The Vincentians' work are especially in three areas. The first area is the direct evangelization and direct help to the poor. Spiritual care, we work in almost 40 centers. Most of them are parishes and community service centers. We have a lot of educational institutions. We have around 18 schools right now in India, all K-12. Our mission through schools, that we are able to educate our Catholic population. Besides that, in the context of India, where the Catholics and Christians are only 2.6%, majority of people in India are Hindus and Muslims. So having all these different religious groups in our Catholic schools, we are able to, in some way, though not able to directly talk about religion in our schools, but still we are able to bring Jesus' values, the values of the kingdom, in so many ways to our non-Catholics. So our first mission is to bring that direct help to the poor people and many others in India through our parishes, through our social activities, and our education. The second thing that we have to, and we continue to do, is the formation of clergy. Jesus in the gospel, God in the first reading, talk about calling people and appointing them to be good shepherds. That is one thing that we do. We have to form clergy. We have to form religious, diocesan clergy as well as religious clergy. And we have so many seminaries right now, and our emphasis right now after India is Tanzania. Starting small minor seminaries, preparatory seminaries, novitiate, philosophy, theology houses, and able to accommodate the wealth of youth that we have in Tanzania, and make that helpful to the evangelization of African countries. So the third aspect that we have and we continue to do is formation of the lay people. In the context of India, where we have 16 official languages and 3,000 and more dialects, it's not easy for a man or a woman from one part of the country to go to the other part of the country and penetrate the culture, penetrate those interior places and convey the message. So we need a lot of assistance from lay people, dedicated and well-prepared lay people. So that is also our third aspect of the mission, prepare lay apostles for the church. It needs a lot of help. It needs a lot of support from people within India, people within Africa, and people outside. And today, I'm appealing to your generosity, especially through prayer. Prayer is so valuable, so helpful to motivate people and do this mission for us. So we surely ask for your support, prayerful support, to make us strong in what we do. And through that prayer, you join us in what we do. And also with whatever you can, financial support. Even $1 that you give is so valuable for our mission in India and Africa. And we especially thank Father Paul for inviting us to this parish, Thank the Bishop of the Diocese for allowing us to do this appeal in his diocese here, and to the parish staff, and to all of you, members of the parish, for welcoming us, and for all that you can, your prayers and your financial support. Wish you all the best in your life, and promise you that we will keep you all in our prayer, keep this parish surely in our prayer, and the prayers of all our priests and religious, and wish you all God's blessing in your life. Thank you very much.